guys, Rich here from the RCNetwork.com, and today's video is going to be about the SMT10. Now, this is the intro video. Each video in the video series will show this portion of it, and then we'll go on to what that upgrade is going to be for my SMT10 from Axial Racing. Now, if you don't know what that is Axial's newest monster truck. Now, if you guys remember, the SMT10 Gravedigger came with that lime green cage. Already went ahead and dyed the cage black with some RIT dye, and of course we're going to be changing up a few things on it. So as you see here, this is kind of what remains right now of my SMT10. I also did a short little video on these new J Concepts Renegades tires and Tribute wheels. Those will be going on this as well. I got lots of things planned for this thing, so stay tuned and check this out. Established in 2005, Holmes Hobbies has been on the cutting edge of the crawling and scaling world, giving more power and less heat in all of the electronics that they produce. Now, recently they've become an international distributor of not only Holmes Hobbies, but also Castle Creations products and Decals electronics. So pretty cool overall. Now, when I was outfitting my SMT10, I wanted power, I wanted speed, I wanted something that wouldn't heat up if I put a little bit of torque down. So I emailed Holmes Hobbies and said, hey, here's the weight of my vehicle, here's what I'm going to be running, here's how fast I want to go, and they gave me some great suggestions. As far as motor and ESC, I went with a brushless combo. It is both censored and brushless, and Holmes Hobbies gives you the option of waterproofing these items and putting on the different connectors that you may need. So pretty much a full service shop over at Holmes Hobbies. Starting with the motor, I chose the Polar Pro 540 3500 kV motor. Now, this is a brushless censored motor. It is waterproof out of the box, so that's pretty nice, and it does some pretty decent power. Now, the Polar Pro has three different options: the stubby sized version if you have a small application, the 540, which I chose, and also a 545, which is just a slightly lengthened can. Inside the box, you get 4mm bullets right here. This is the female side. If you happen not to purchase an ESC through them, you get about an 8-inch sensor wire, which is pretty nice. And of course, you do get the Polar Pro BL 540 size 3500 kV motor. Slightly small, actually, as I'm looking at it in comparison to other 540 size motors, but what it's not small on is torque and speed. You do have a sensor port on the back right here, A, B, and C connectors, little dot right here that says it is waterproof, and it comes with pre-soldered on connectors, which is pretty nice, saves me a step in the end. Now, this does come with a 3.2mm or 1/8 inch motor shaft to fit on almost any pinion out there. And then on the end of these things, you do get 4mm solid bullet connectors, gold plated, and they're pretty nice. I mean, the soldering job is second to none. As far as ESCs, it was recommended the Trailmaster BLE Pro ESC. Inside the box, you get an information packet right here to get you all the information on programming and what it's capable of. This is a 2S to 6S LiPo input, and I plan to run this on 3S because that is what the 3500 Polar Pro motor can handle. So right here is the Trailmaster BLE Pro, very similar in size and configuration to like the SV3 from Castle Creations, but what this thing definitely has is a sensor port right here. Also has an exterior little fan port as well. So right here we do have the battery connectors, which are pre-tinned, and you do have an option through Holmes Hobbies to have a connector soldered on for you. I just chose to do it myself and put on a Dean's connector. Right here are pre-soldered on female bullets for that Polar Pro motor, and we do have a pretty long lead right here for the receiver. Heat sinks all on the top right here are aluminum, and we have a plastic case wrapped around here with, of course, the Trailmaster BLE Pro decal sheet. What I'm most excited about is this SHV 500 brushless 12-volt servo. Now, what's so different about the BLS SHV 500 12-volt servo from Holmes Hobbies is it is 12-volt compatible. So this thing is pretty cool. It not only has a receiver lead, but it has a separate kind of mini JST plug that gets power directly from your battery. So no more BEC installations. This thing just gets direct power and lots of it. Now the full alloy case, both bottom, ears, top, entirely alloy, cranks out 450 ounce-inches of torque on a 3S LiPo at 0.10 seconds. If you bump it up to 14 volts or 4S LiPo, you can get this down to 0.08 seconds and 520 ounce-inches. Inside the box, you do get a mini JST lead right here that you can hook directly up to your battery, so you can unplug and plug as you need. And the 25 tooth splined post can adapt any Futaba style servo horn. So now that I got these things unboxed, let's get installing and get my SMT10 up and going. Alright, so I went ahead and got everything installed from Holmes Hobbies. Now, it went pretty easy. Now, these items are pretty much plug and play. Once you have everything installed, you fire up the system using the typical Castle Creations programming with the ESC. So pretty easy to do, and there's instructions included. Now, the BLS SHV500 servo is absolutely great. I can't tell you how impressed I am with this servo. Now, in most builds, you have to install BECs and worry about the typical power that's going to it, but as long as you're running anything 4S or lower, this servo can handle it with direct power straight from your battery. The all aluminum design throughout the ears, the bottom case, the top case allows for a great install on a top of the front axle designed vehicle. You don't have to worry about anything damaging this thing because it's all aluminum. With the two wires coming off of the servo, one goes up to the receiver, the other one goes out to get powered directly from your battery with a included pigtail connector that you just need to splice into your Dean's plug, or like I did, make a kind of contraption device to connect from your Dean's plug to your battery. Stay tuned later in this video and I will power up this system and show you how quiet this Holmes Hobbies 12 volt servo really is. The Trailmaster BLE Pro is almost the identical size to a Castle Creations SV3 ESC, but this one does include a sensor plug port, so you can have that great censored feel on your motor and ESC. Now, this thing went in pretty easily straight onto the included platform on the SMT10. Everything plugged and played very nicely. The included bullet connectors straight off of the motor and to the ESC makes plugging this thing in super easy. No soldering is needed for this portion of the application. The Polar Pro BL540 sized motor is tucked deep into the SMT10. Now, notice that it does have the ABC logos on the back because this is a censored setup. This needs to be plugged in exactly like you would a censored motor in ESC. Holmes Hobbies jumps to the next step by soldering on connections for you, so everything is plug and play. This particular motor came with a 1/8 sized motor shank, so I was able to install the stock pinion gear straight onto this with no issues whatsoever. The 12 volt servo comes with this small JST plugged pigtail that you can solder directly in to your Dean's connector off of your ESC, but I chose to make this kind of adapter right here just so I can take it from vehicle to vehicle if I needed to, and I actually already had this thing made up, so it made it pretty easy. Just use a female Dean's to a male Dean's, and this just goes in line for your battery terminal off of your ESC onto your battery. This plugs straight into the lead coming off of your servo, so it gets direct power, in my case 11.1 volts from my LiPo battery. Now, to power this thing up, it's pretty easy. Now, the Trailmaster BLE Pro does not come with any type of on-off switch, which is a popular mod for lots of racers and also crawlers and scalers. So once you plug your battery in, just got a standard 3S LiPo, you automatically get the beeps from your Castle Creations ESC there. Turn on your remote. Everything is armed now, so I do have power both forward and rear. It is not under load, so I don't want to run it too much, but I'm going to go ahead and take my microphone and put it right over here by the servo so you can hear how loud this thing really is. I mean, this thing is super quiet. You guys hear that? Not much talking there, but it is definitely super quiet. One of the quietest servos I've ever heard, and it feels like it has just tons and tons of power being right at about 500 ounce-inches of torque. Well guys, that is my quick install here of the Holmes Hobbies huge nice system for my SMT10 from Axial Racing. I can't wait to run this thing. This is a super cool system. I haven't worked with a system like this before, but I am super amped to definitely test this out, see what kind of speed it has, and also the kind of torque that not only that servo has, but that Polar Pro motor has. So can't wait to get all that tested out. Now, if you are in the market for any type of electronic system for, let's say, your Bomber or your Score trophy truck, your Yeti, definitely take a look at Holmes Hobbies, and especially this system. This is an awesome system for almost any of those vehicles out there. Well guys, that's it for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm off to the next one. Over and out.